like what's in the WRX embroidery. I have a few inches of room. Backseat driver. I have a little extra storage, and then if we pull this up. What's up, guys? This is Automotive Anonymous. If you're new to my channel, I do car reviews, truck reviews, 0 to 60s, and other cool stuff. Today we have another brand new Subaru WRX. This one's the Limited. I've already done the Premium and the GT. So today I'm bringing you the third of the 4 trim levels, the Limited. I borrowed it from Twin Falls Subaru in Southern Idaho. I'm gonna link them below if you guys are interested. They're really good people to work with. Otherwise, we're gonna go around it, talk about the specs, initial driving impressions, 0 to 60, and final thoughts to decide how does the Limited WRX trim compare to the other offerings, as well as the other competitors that you might be considering when looking about. Is it time to become a WRX owner? Are you gonna become one of the 21 to 34,000 people who buy this every single year? And before we get too far into it, we need to talk about the GR Corolla. There's a few differences between this and that, and there's a lot of similarities. That is obviously a hatchback. This is a sedan because the WRX no longer has the hatchback offering that it did when it was the Impreza. But in 2015, the WRX became its own body. Well, these are going to be a lot cheaper than the Corolla. Yeah, it's down 40 horse or so, but you're not going to find a GR Corolla under sticker anytime soon, which I do not agree with, but that's just how the market is. Also, getting those produced and getting them in the hands of the people is going to be difficult. Whereas you can find these under sticker and on a lot of Subaru lots. They're readily available, and there's more trim levels. Also, if you want an automatic, if you need the CVT, you can go WRX for that, but you can't go GR Corolla with one of those. So comment below, tell me, what are you guys considering? Are you going to buy one of these? Or are you going to try to find the Toyota? Or see what other hot hatches come up, like the Elantra N or other vehicles like that. Otherwise, this Limited starts at about $37,500. What it gets being the Limited is that sunroof. It gets the ultra suede seats. It has the 11.6-inch screen, 10-way power seats, responsive headlights, and the Harman Kardon speakers with the subwoofer right there behind the back glass. It makes 271 horse on 91 octane. The gas tank's located right there on the driver's side. It's good for 19 city, 25 highway. So on a road trip, you're going about 400 miles if you're conservative. They weigh about 3,300 pounds the way it's configured. It's 15.3 feet long, 6 feet wide, and just under 5 feet tall, with a whopping 5.4 inches of ground clearance, and the same final drive ratio from my Outback Wilderness. It's the 444, which is pretty darn cool for putting the power down. An STI name brand exhaust, which is pretty cool on this model. A turning circle is 36 feet. The wheelbase is about 9 feet. So it's really planted on the road, and with symmetrical all-wheel drive, you have a lot of capacity, a lot to be able to do what you need to do. Payload, if this was a truck, would be about 1,300 pounds. That's how many pounds of occupants and stuff you can carry in your WRX. So 1,300 pounds for a sedan of this size is really not that bad. And again, this is the 2nd gen WRX, so it's part of the VB generation, as it's called. Has a 245/40/18 Dunlop summer tire, all performance, and it's a pretty sticky tire, but because it's so performance focused, you can hear basically every little rock that it kicks up underneath the body, which I guess tells you what kind of surface you're on. But let's hop out of what is trying to snow and get into the car. You have the proximity key feature, so you can lock and you can unlock right there. On the door panel, it looks really nice. You have the fake carbon fiber theme, of course, a few different soft touch materials, red stitching, soft material on the door card and the armrest, and you could fit about 11 fingers in there if you needed to. Bottle holder, snack holder. Harman Kardon speakers sound really good. WRX on the door sill plate, all weather mats, aluminum pedal, and even the dead pedal. Hood release, fuse box. These are the options you get on the Limited. And ultra suede seats, 10-way power adjustment for the driver with WRX stamped in the headrest. It looks really darn cool. Let's hop inside, fire it up. The steering wheel sounds pretty good. The leather wrap is really nice, flat bottom with WRX, I really appreciate. We can go through the gauges. On the center, it does have a boost gauge. Volume and audio controls on the left. Cruise type of settings on the right when you're a manual. You don't get the same eyesight features that you would on basically every other Subaru that's not a manual. And then the 11.6-inch screen, it's a little bit slow. Owners of this, like myself, we don't love it, but it does look cool. So I guess there's trade-offs. And then the vents on the WRXs look pretty nice. You have a really nice, large, rubber-lined storage, 12-volt, aux, USBs. Decent throws on this. It's very mechanical. It feels very good. Backup camera is decent. We do have moving lines when we turn the wheel. Manual e-brake, a little bit of storage for your Tootsie Rolls and your pennies, 2 cup holders, and then pretty far back is the center armrest. It has a 12-volt in it. Up top, we have the dimming mirror, but we don't have home link like we would on other Subarus. LED lighting, and then tilt and slide with the manual shade. Not too bad. Let's turn it off, hop in the back. The back door panel looks basically identical, same soft touch materials. The red stitching follows just like what's in the WRX embroidery or stamping. Carbon fiber theme you can't do without. Bottle holder, graham cracker stack. Nothing down on the door sill. Really nice seats. They are a 60-40 split with the matte protectors on the back. So at 5'11", sitting behind myself, I have a few inches of room, and I have the seat pretty far reclined. It is a nice view from back here. I have some plugins, no heated seats though, and 2 armrests in the center. It's fairly stable. It looks really good. If I had to be a backseat driver, I think I'd be pretty well off in the back of the WRX. Subaru does a good job making back room in most of their, basically all their vehicles except the BRZ. That's the only one that misses out. Going around to the back, there's a button underneath the Subaru emblem to pop it, or we have the button on the remote. 12.5 cubic feet back here. There's the factory WRX mats, and then we have a fix-a-flat kit down here with a little bit of extra storage, and then if we pull this up further, you can see where the tools start to be. Everything you need in the back of the WRX. Minus the wing. Where's the wing? That's good to set your lunch on. That's good to look at. To the other side of the back seat, door panel by now, you guys know what they look like. Really comfortable, really well thought out, and very similar to all the other Subaru models. You have another backseat driver behind the passenger, and then the 60 split looks really cool with Harman Kardon subwoofer right behind your head. If you're riding shotgun, you get another proximity key sensor. Harman Kardon listed on the door panel, and just a little bit bigger storage. Looks really good, but you don't get power seats. Just get the manual recline and slide, but you do get WRX, so you don't forget what you're driving. Locking glove box. No 12 volts or anything in here. Not large, but it does the job. Let's go around and pop the hood and see what the FA24 DIT Turbo looks like. This is basically the only Subaru that gets struts or shocks instead of having the prop rod, but it looks really good under here. It's a really simple, straightforward engine basically. Windshield washer, coolant, filter, oil fill, brake fluid, the battery, positive and negative terminals. Because this vehicle isn't huge, the engine does feel like it sits up a little bit higher in it compared to something like the Ascent that has basically the same engine. Air intake through there, filter, all the piping and plumbing to get through the turbo, and then through this intercooler that has induction through that hood scoop, throttle body, upper intake manifold, and then you can see where the block is mated right down the middle. Oil dipstick, alternator, and the belt cover, so you don't lose one or more of your fingers down there. Let's drop the hood. Oh yeah, 271 horse, 260 pound-feet of torque. Not too bad. My favorite part, we're gonna take it for a drive, see how it does, and then we're gonna see how fast it is in today's weather conditions. Initial driving impressions of the WRX Limited. So that's a really cool ride. It's pretty quick. Visibility is really good, being the WRX platform, which is now its own platform as it has been since the last generation. Steering is really good. It can do a full circle in 36 feet. Sharp, precise steering, but it is a bit numb. You don't feel much input from the road. Thankfully, you can hear a lot of road noise and wind noise through this car. The wind noise today isn't as bad as I remember on my last WRX review, but the road noise is just pretty awful. If you're going on a gravel road, you're going to hear every single rock that gets kicked up off those performance summer tires, which isn't a bad thing. You know, it gives you insight to what's happening. But if you're using this as a comfortable cruiser, it does have rally car roots. You're going to feel that, you're going to hear that. But you're going to have a lot of fun doing it because it's a WRX. Flat bottom wheel is cool. And this is how the engine should be driven with the 6-speed manual. It's really good. The display seems to be similar to my Outback Wilderness. Not fantastic, not bad. It's just the standard 11.6 inch basically. The rest of the car is very comfortable. Armrests are good. Everything is out of the way. The shifter is nice and easy to use. And you have a back seat. So there's not too many compromises going WRX. The seats are pretty comfortable. That ultra suede material is just cool. The heated settings are decent. I don't think Subarus have the best heated seats, but they're keeping me warm. They're just not getting me hot. The brakes are fantastic in this. Doing 90-degree turns or going around curves at speed is fun. You feel like you want to push the car to its limits. Where we are in summer tires, it's 31 degrees today, and it's trying to snow. We're not going to push it to those limits, but it'd be fun if you did. The Harman Kardon speakers sound great. And hopefully you caught some of that gravel noise. Not to be confused with the squeaky wiper blade we have right here. Rolling through the gears is really fun in the WRX. Downshifting to brake though, because it's a small 2.4 liter engine, it really doesn't slow you down that much. There's not just a lot of weight with the rotational mass of this engine. But something that's much better on this VB series WRX compared to the VA, which was the last generation, the 15 to 21, is the rev hang. It's basically non-existent compared to that one. Those 2 liters had really bad rev hang, which you could tune out, but that requires you to modify your car. Cruising in 6th gear, we're at 2,000 RPM, going 55. With the exhaust that this has, it is a little bit drony, I do want to say. It's not crazy. Maybe we'll go up a little bit in speed. But there is just some factory drone. Almost sounds like what the Boxer Rumble used to be like with those unequal length headers. But it's not bad if you're driving a car like this. It's probably the least loud exhaust you'd even consider. For the rest of us who don't drive a rally car or something similar or something modified, it does spark your notice that it does sound a little bit loud. But let's get to our 0 to 60. Let's see how fast it is. I will say density altitude is 3,000 feet, so the vehicle's down on power about 5%, even though it's turboed. I'll verbalize the true 0 to 60 at the end, and then show you the GPS graph after. The bottom left shows what it does without the foot of rollout. That's usually a few tenths of a second faster than it would be in a true time. First gear though, easy to start. Notchy shifter, feels really good. But let's get to our 0 to 60. 0 to 60, 6.83 after doing 3 accelerations like that, none that are overly abusive because it's a new car. That's the best one. You could do a little bit faster if you wanted to dump the clutch or just put more stress through the system, but that's not how most people are going to accelerate their car. Final thoughts of the WRX Limited is for a little bit under 40 grand, it's a pretty cool offering. It's kind of crazy that just a few years ago, this is what the top model STI would come with. But each new generation, even though it seems like the enthusiasts like the look of it less and less, we're a little bit curious and confused on why there's such a little bit of plastic cladding with these tiny little air vents. You can barely fit 3 fingers in there. But honestly, the platform's more refined and better each time. It becomes a safer car with every revision. So even though we might not be overly fond of the looks compared to some of the wide body wagons that we had a few years ago, it's honestly not too bad of a ride. I do think that this automatic transmission in the GT does a decent job, like I've reviewed one of those a few months ago. But the manual, the 6-speed, that's where it's at. This is how this vehicle should come from the factory, like they used to. But kudos to Subaru for offering an automatic for those drivers who do need it. Are you guys gonna buy one? Comment below. Are you considering it to the GR, one of the Hyundai products, or even a different class of vehicle entirely? These are really cool. They look great. If you're conservative, they can get okay gas mileage, but they're just fun. They're WRX. And it's the first one I've done in Magnetite Gray. All the others have been World Raleigh Blue, which is probably my favorite color. And this is probably my second favorite. But if you've made it this far, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing if you want to tell me what to do next. You want to share the video, and you want to bookmark my channel so that you can watch more. Let's not forget those Honda Civic taillights. And with that said, take care, guys. See you on the next one.